Hello, everyone, and welcome into the Proverbs 31 Woman. And you already know that today we're going to go in and we're going to go deep because this environment allows us the opportunity to really talk about how we show up in our leadership, how we show up in our businesses, as well as how we show up in the marketplace. So, today we're going to talk about the environmental code and how it is that we're positioning ourselves for growth. Can I just say that growth doesn't always feel good? It stretches you to the max, and it will allow you, though, the opportunity to really reach higher heights and deeper depths. But it requires some action. It requires that we do some things. And so today we're going to talk about a couple of different scriptures and what it is that we're doing to show up in the best version of ourselves as possible. So Proverbs 13 and 20 says, "He that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed." And then in First Corinthians 15 and 33, "Be not deceived, evil communications corrupt good manners." Whew, that in itself is a lot, right? Uh, I know that this is already swinging and it's already stinging from the standpoint of we are now required to do something to make sure that we're showing up in the best versions of ourselves possible. So your environment is either expanding you or it's draining you. So one of the greatest truths the Proverbs 31 woman understands is this: environment shapes your outcome. You cannot consistently operate at a high level while remaining connected to low level thinking, to some toxic patterns or environments that suffocate your growth. And I cannot tell you the number of people that I talk to or that I have come in contact with that is in this same space right now. It's okay to not be okay when that is happening, right? But understand that it's requiring you now to show up differently, to do more, and to be the best version of yourself possible. So the Proverbs 31 woman is intentional about what surrounds her because she understands that something powerful is happening. Proximity influences possibility. So, who you walk with matters, who you listen to matters, who you tolerate matters, and the rooms you remain in matter as well. So many people pray for elevation while remaining emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and relationally connected to environments that keep them stuck. But the Proverbs 31 woman recognizes that you cannot rise while constantly shrinking to fit environments that was never designed for your next level. And that's a problem. Can I say, Houston, we have a problem, right? Familiarity can become a trap. And for a lot of people, they're in that space where they feel like that there's no way out, that there's nothing happening, and that you're doing at times the same stuff and getting the same results, right? Well, now it's time to go higher. One of the most dangerous things in life is becoming comfortable in environments that no longer align with your future. Some people are surrounded by constant negativity, scarcity thinking, fear based conversation, small minded perspectives and perceptions, right? Drama and distraction. And over time, those environments begin shaping your confidence, your decisions, your expectations, and your belief systems because environments do one of two things. They either cultivate growth or they normalize limitation. Thank you so much for being here and joining in on this morning. The Bible says, "He that walketh with wise men shall be wise." Notice the wording here. Wisdom is transferable through proximity. Being around folks that are doing some things, that are going places, that are doing what it is that you want to do, it allows you, because of that proximity, to glean what that looks like before you even get there. This also means that your environment is not neutral, it's producing something negative or positive. Either way, you're getting something out of it. And it also says that negative and negative does not equal positive. There's nothing good that comes out of that. So the environmental shift is this, is that the Proverbs 31 woman positions herself wisely, and she does not casually allow everyone access to her mind, her energy, or her future. And she understands that growth requires intentional positioning. She enters rooms that intentionally stretch her thinking, that sharpen her wisdom, that expands her vision, challenge her comfort zone, and increases her expectations, because she knows and she understands that you cannot become extraordinary while remaining committed to average environments. That was good to me. So I'm going to say it again. You cannot become extraordinary while remaining committed to average environments. It just does not benefit you, because you are the sum of the five people that you're around the most. The five, they call them the faith friends. Well, let's talk about what that potentially looks like, because it does. Add up to what that looks like for you. So the edge is this: alignment attracts opportunity. One conversation can change your life. One room can expand your mindset. One mentor can accelerate your growth. One environment can completely reposition your future. So I will say, where are you? What it is that you need for what's next? Have you written the vision? Habakkuk 2 and 2 tells us to write the vision and make it plain. Have you taken the time to do that? If not, today's a good day to get started. And this is why the Proverb 31 woman values alignment over attachment. Ooh, I know that many of us are attached to our comfort zones, but the Proverb 31 woman understands not everyone can go where you're going. Not every environment deserves your presence, and not every voice deserves influence over your spirit, right? You choose environments that align with purpose and not familiarity. I am encouraging you to make sure that you're doing that in this season. Well, I always like to give you a modern day story in the environment shift in action. I like to show you what that looks like. So let's consider a woman named Kay, right? Of course, all the names are just names, right? There's realism in the story, not necessarily the person that is attached to it, right? So for years, she desired to build a successful business and create generational wealth, but she stayed surrounded by people who mocked ambition, who criticized growth, and normalized struggle. So every time she dreamed bigger, someone around her would say, "Girl, be realistic. That doesn't happen for people like us, and you're doing too much." Well, can I just say, girl, continue to do the most, because some people are not going where you're going. So eventually, Kay realized the issue was not her potential, it was her environment. So she began doing something herself for herself. It's okay to be selfish sometimes. It's okay to work on you. It's okay to work on that mindset that you have. So Kay began reading differently, networking intentionally, attending leadership events, investing in mentorship, and spending less time, I'm going to say less and less time in draining spaces. And within a few years, her mindset, her confidence, her income, and her impact transformed. Why? Because environments can either reinforce limitation or it can activate expansion. And I want you to understand that there's a real thing called growth. There's a real thing called maturity. There's also a real thing called no, which is a complete answer. You've got to be so intentional that you're uber dialed in, you're uber focused on what your next thing is, and that you are not going to allow anything or anyone to get in your way from achieving your goals. And that's a real thing. Now, your environment has to align with whatever that next goal is. So evaluate your environments wisely, protect your peace and your growth, surround yourself with wisdom, and position yourself for sustainability. That means that you're positioned for the long haul, not next week, not next month, not next year. But what about the next 5 years? What about the next 10 years? Let's go broad, right? Go deep before you try to go wide, because you need to stay in position long enough to get what you need to get out of it. But then you also need to be working on mastery and maturity at the same time. Now, let's talk about these legacy activation. And how we do that is through 3 action steps. These are real implementable things that's going to allow you to get some results. So, number one is audit your circle, right? Ask yourself honestly, who inspires growth in me? Who drains my energy? Who constantly reinforces limitation? Because not everyone assigned to your past belongs in your future. And that's a strong word, but can I just say, when you look at yourself, when you look at your future, when you look at what you've written down on pen and paper, you will find that there's still yet more. There's more growth, there's more opportunities, there's more potential, there's more possibilities. Let's not limit ourselves to just today, or let's not limit ourselves to tomorrow. Number two is remove toxic influences. I'll wait because I know that that's a lot, right? Protect your peace intentionally. This may include limiting negative conversations, right? Don't even answer the phone call. Don't respond to the text message. Limit the negative conversations. Number two is creating stronger boundaries. For some, who you may have to draw a line where those boundaries are and stick to it. And the next one is going to reduce access to draining environments. I did say no is a complete answer, right? And no could also be not now, right? Growth requires courage. It requires confidence. It also requires that level of clarity that's going to allow you to be able to see clearly and be laser focused where it is that you're trying to go. Number three is going to be enter rooms that stretch you. Yeah, I'll wait again. Right? Because some people don't like to be pulled on. Some people don't like to be pushed, right? Some people don't like to be stretched. Well, there's an intentional behavior that comes along with it. So go where your thinking is challenged, right? Join communities of growth, attend leadership spaces, and invest in environments that sharpen your future. You'll find not only are you growing, but everything around you starts to shift for the better, right? Expansion often begins with your exposure. What are you willing to expose yourself to in this season that's going to allow you to get some different results in the next? Because if you've been doing the same thing and getting the same results, then nothing changes, nothing happening and nothing changes. Yeah, we're busy, we're doing things, but nothing is growing us. Nothing is growing our mindset. They say if you want to build some muscle, go to the gym, right? Well, if you've been trying to work out at home and it's not working for you, change your environment, right? It's an investment. You're going to pay the cost now, or you're going to pay the cost later. There's a cost in not taking action. There's a cost in procrastination. There's a cost that is holding you bound to the place that you are right now. Whew, can you tell I just got a little excited? Because, yes, this is the time that is called growth and maturity, right? Let's go to the next level. So, our journal prompts is this. Number one, who or what has been influencing your thinking the most lately? Go ahead and get that journal out. I want you to give that a whole page, right? Take some time with that. Who or what has been influencing your thinking lately? Number two is, what environment am I tolerating that no longer aligns with my future? Yeah, I know that's a real tough one as well. However, if you have not written down the vision for your life or your business, you cannot see where you are going, right? So make sure that you do the first thing first. Write the vision plan for your life and your business. Then that way you can back into it to align with where you are now and what's next. And number three is, what rooms, relationships, or opportunities do I need to pursue for growth? I always like to say that a leader needs a leader, a coach needs a coach, a consultant needs a consultant. Whatever area that you function in that is bringing you the most success, you need someone else in there to help you to identify those blind spots. That's going to challenge you for more and what's next. And that is going to help you to get there with acceleration and a blueprint. If you're still trying to do it all yourself, if you're still trying to research it, if you're still trying to wait on somebody to give you permission, well, today is it, right? Go ahead, choose one thing that you wrote down and start with that. And of course, I want to share with you our daily, or in this case, our weekly affirmation. And I want you to repeat after me. I am positioned in environments that strengthen my purpose, expand my thinking, and align me with the future God has prepared for me. I'm going to say that again. I am positioned in environments that strengthen my purpose, expand my thinking, and align me with the future God has prepared for me. Now, if you just said that affirmation, let's go, right? This is go time. Let's definitely continue to keep confessing that, because our words have power, right? We get the opportunity to speak life, and we can have whatsoever we say. Not my words, but it's in the Bible, right? And having that and knowing that allows us the opportunity to say, I'm ready, right? It gives you the confidence of saying, I'm getting ready to go and I'm going big, right? You have the opportunity to be able to do that. Somebody said they felt the shift. Yes, come on and let's go, right? Miss Adasia, thank you so much for being here. Knowing that something is on the way and you're giving yourself permission to now expand your thinking, work on you as a individual, whether that is physically, whether that is mentally, whether you're working on your soul, your spirit. Look, leadership has a price to it. And for some people, they pay for it with their time. And because we pay for that with our time, you get to determine the value that you place on that time. Can I just say, I'm in a place right now to where the value that I put on those environments, the cost is great, right? Because I do sometimes so many things and I'm in so many different spaces. It's by design and it is intentional, because I did say that no is a complete answer. Sometimes you got to be okay with no. And no is not just a final thing. It could be not now, right? You may have to take some time to look at the things that you're doing and realign them to make sure that your future is going to allow you to be able to get to where it is that you're trying to get to without challenge, right? Or somebody that can lock arms with you that can help you to get to where it is that you're trying to get to. So our word for the week is environment. Your environment is either feeding your greatness or it's feeding your limitations. You get to decide on what that looks like. Are you feeding, right? Your environment or feeding your greatness? Come on, somebody. Somebody said no could be a season. Thank you, Dr. Sweeney, right? I do believe that it is a season, right? And when you understand where it is that you're going and not everybody can go with you, you will also be comfortable with being by yourself. You'll be comfortable with just locking arms with those five faith friends that's going to help you to get to where it is that you're trying to get to. That's going to tell you you're an error. They're going to tell you, girl, keep going. They're going to tell you, come on, let's pool our resources together and maybe we can do something massively big. They're going to encourage you every step along the way, but they're also going to not let you be okay with being mediocre. They're also not going to let you be okay with not doing the most as well. Because I do understand the people we surround ourselves with, yeah, they're either making a difference or they're pulling you down or they're draining you literally, right? So our scripture meditation for the week is going to be Amos 3:3. Can two walk together except they be agreed, right? We want to make sure that we're in agreement with those that we're locking arms with, that we're in agreement with those that's in our circle. If you are positive and you're going somewhere and you attach some negativity to it, it's going to slow you down. And in some cases, it's going to stop you altogether. However, if you allow those positives to come together and continually help you to elevate, you're going to find that there's a level of maturity that is yet to be reached, right? Because sometimes you'll find that positivity gives you endless possibilities and it allows you to be able to continue to go forward. I hope that I shared something today in this environmental code that is going to challenge your very being, challenge your very core, make you think about what it is that you're doing. Because let me tell you, we don't have the time that we think we have in order to keep playing with our potential, to keep playing with our influence and our impact and our leadership, right? For many of you, you have um, been positioned with some massive responsibility around your leadership. Quit playing with it, right? Go all in. Just make a decision today that you're not going to stop, that you're not going to quit, and that you're going to continue to keep going no matter what. It does not matter if you find that somebody is not there clapping for you, that they're not supporting you. Sometimes you got to be okay with patting yourself on the shoulder, right? You got to be okay with saying, all right, today, you know what, I'm going to get up and I'm going to get dressed just because today is Monday, right? And you're going to do the most. So I'm going to challenge you to make that phone call you've been putting off, write that book that you've been waiting on, create the platform and the community that you keep saying that you're going to do. Because if you continue to keep doing the things that you've been doing, you're going to continue to get the same results. And time out for getting the same results. Let's push ourselves and position ourselves for growth and position ourselves for more. And more importantly, take somebody with you. Don't just go at it alone, right? Look for your replacement. That's legacy. That's generational wealth in itself, right? Do the things that make an example, that allow people to see that you are intentional about what it is that you're doing. And more importantly, that you are looking for the opportunity to connect with that purpose that you have in your life. You're looking for opportunities and ways that's going to help you to improve yourself. So I definitely thank you for joining with me here on today. I do this every Monday at 9 a.m. And I am going to continue to do this as long as necessary so that we can get some real results. Because can I just say the Proverbs 31 women is everywhere, right? We are in leadership. We are the queens of our castles. We are doing some amazing things at the highest level that you will notice. However, let's make sure that we're showing up as the best versions of ourselves and that we are definitely doing the most and making a difference in our impact and our influence. So thank you so much for joining in. Join me again on next week at 9 a.m. As well as you can go to my website, drtabitharussell.com. You can connect with me. There's also some free resources there and the events that we have coming up as well. So thank you so much and have an amazing day. Take care.